favorite live talk show on television, second to none. As you know how we do it every Sunday night, today won't be any different. So just grab something and let's have a conversation. My name is Frema.
Mine is Tuffour. Remember, the show is brought to you by Vodafone. The future is exciting.
Ready?
All right, so let's go for a break. When we come back, we start the conversation right here on the Upside Down Show.
Coming up on the Upside Down Show today, get inspired by the story of visually impaired teacher John Chapre, who despite his disability has a positive outlook on life and is determined to impact others through education. And later, we throw it back to the conversation with educationists, MP for Busumchi constituency in the Ashanti region and Deputy Minister of Education, Dr. Yaw Adutwum, right here on the show.
Hello viewers, I'm feeling very frustrated and bored in Sambulai. I'm very happy. If you don't understand, don't worry, call me self, I don't understand. In this edition, Vodafone Ghana has now made it possible to send money from Vodafone Cash to all network free. We'll cross over to our senior reporter for more details.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing in front downtown. You know, I'm learning to make a vlog. I'm not funny as you said. Vodafone, I'm not quite said. Ultimate Senesika to Topia, Emily to Topia, Echo all the network. I will check up there. Me Tissi Montezo, Diamond Falcon.
Fifia, Matendo says, don't you put charges, Manome. Joe, you bro, charges on your wumlo, at the Hamon, a beer says, do the ha, charges of Clandine.
Handing and me fanning on me. Listen, I'm a charges, man, charges I met G, Naka charges, when we know, Mania Cafe, BP, oh, and if oh,
for me, I do a lot of online transactions. I guess here. See, the excitement for me is that I get to save a lot on Vodafone Cash.
Please put me down.
I'm so excited. I can now send money to all networks without any charges.
Me ye Jadiniba. A bribia says a michiam a juma your forecam. Sika michia set charges no. And do so do. Nancy says, say dear. Make the Vodafone Cash.
Sending money on Vodafone Cash to all networks is now free. Send any amount of money as many times as you like to all networks for free. Dial *110# now to send money.
Any amount for Masumo. Studio 2. Put him in car. And yeah, Muso.
This is the red news. Apologize.
The future is exciting. Ready?
New Luxe Even Complexion with exfoliating clay and vitamin B3 for fragrance, even complexion that glows. Too many judgments? Don't get stressed. Get even, because you are more than what they say. New Luxe Even Complexion.
All right, welcome back to the Upside Down Show on City TV, proudly brought to you by Vodafone. Yes, people are really doing amazing stuff in their communities.
Of course, I mean extraordinary stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel people have special powers to be able to do what they are doing. Now, this gentleman that we're going to be talking to is one person who really is inspiring, because when you look at sighted people and how far we can even go, I mean, it's so admirable and a feat to really celebrate for a visually impaired person to be a teacher for sighted students.
Of course. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're speaking to a visually impaired teacher who's making inroads in the education sector. If you're ready, I'm ready. Help me welcome
ready.
Mr. John Chapre, a teacher making amazing inroads in the Edo area. Thanks for joining on.
Look, my step.
Awesome.
Wow, beautiful. John,
hello.
How are you?
I'm great. What about you?
I'm fantastic.
Oh, good.
You have a beautiful shirt there.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's a compliment.
Wow, you do have the wonderful smile as well.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's good.
Awesome. It's good to have you on the show.
I'm also excited to be here on this huge platform.
All right.
So how have you been?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm in Kwahu and I'm doing well. Chilly weather there.
How's the weather?
How's the weather? Yeah,
It's called Smallland. Obo is called Smallland. So,
yeah.
Amazing.
John, so you are doing so well. You are a teacher, and even people who can see clearly, not many of us can teach. But despite your situation, you are really making inroads in making sure that younger people also get the knowledge that you have. But tell us, were you born blind?
Oh yes, I was born blind. Yeah, that's it. I was just born blind.
Really?
Yes.
So how was it like growing up, knowing that you were different from? So at what point did you know that you were different from other children?
Well, I think around, let's say, when I was about 7 to 8 years, that's when I got to realize that there was a difference between me and my siblings and other people in my area. Yeah.
So what of your family? I mean, was there any special treatment for you? How many siblings did you have? And were you treated differently from others?
My father has 2 wives, so all together we're 9 siblings now. Yes. And, well, I wasn't... of course, I was given some special treatment, but not so much of a special treatment. I mean, I was made to fit, to the normal society.
Wow.
And my family has been very supportive.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, try to provide all the guidance and all the protection that I deserve.
Right, but did you attend any special schools?
Oh yes, I attended Yaw Adutwum School for the Blind. That's a basic school. In fact, it was a boarding. It's a boarding school. So from preparatory to JSS 3. I was in a boarding house. And then during vacations, we go back to our parents. So when school resumes, we come back.
Okay.
How old are you? Do you mind sharing?
Oh, I don't mind. I'm 32 years.
Oh, wow.
So
are you
88.
Okay.
Awesome.
When is your birthday?
28th April.
Okay.
The best man of the year.
Of course, and why not? Right, so how was it like, now coming out of school? So after JHS in Wa?
Good. I went to Wenchi Methodist Senior High. It's an integrated school.
Okay.
That is a combination of visually impaired persons and then sighted people. So, yes, so I went to Wenchi Methodist Senior High.
But how was it like, being there? Did you have the resources? Was it easy for you?
Well, it was a bit of a challenge. These integrated schools are not properly equipped.
Yeah.
They are doing their best, but I think that more can be done. In fact, I did literature, and sometimes there was a problem even having access to maybe audio materials or even brain materials in these literature.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a struggle, but the teachers there, the resource persons were committed, and then at the end of the day, we sailed through. Even though there were challenges, the issues of braille paper, issues of having access to all the textbooks in an accessible format, it was a big problem.
Wow. Yeah. But at what point in your life did you decide, or did you know that you wanted to be a teacher? What really informed that decision?
Okay, when I completed senior high school, in fact, when I was a child, I was of the impression that I wanted to become a lawyer. But I didn't know why I wanted to be. Maybe I was just so excited about the name
lawyer.
The lawyer. But after after completing senior high, I realized, I met one of my teachers, and he influenced my life. He's late now, but he told me to go and pursue English language and teach. And after interacting with him, the passion for the law just died off, and teaching just took over.
So where did you get your training from?
I went to the University of Cape Coast.
Wow,
yes.
Great.
And how was it like being in Cape Coast?
UCC.
Cape Coast, wow, it was a very nice experience. Yes, it was a very nice experience. I really enjoyed my time in Cape Coast. I participated in a lot of activities on campus, especially quiz programs.
Wow.
When whole week celebrations, I was always very active there, and had friends, a lot of friends, people who are ready to assist, and a whole lot of friends. And of course, there were challenges. Sometimes there are people who have never come into contact with a visual impaired person. So sometimes when they meet you, they ask you so many questions. They try to sometimes very flimsy questions, but you just have to answer everything. Yeah, but Cape Coast was a nice experience.
Yeah, but what was campus disabled friendly? Did you struggle to go about?
Well, I think that not all that friendly, but somehow. But there are still challenges, though. So, I mean, we had to rely on friends to move around to lecture theaters and all that. But some parts were a bit friendly. Some parts of the campus were a bit friendly. Some two were not.
And now you are a teacher.
Yes.
What's the name of your school?
My school is Kwao Ridge Senior High Technical School in Obo.
Okay.
Yes. Wow.
It's not a visually impaired school.
Not at all.
So how did you end up there?
Well, I was recruited by the Ghana Education Service in 2018. That is in March, and I was posted there.
Oh, okay.
And what subjects do you teach?
I teach English language.
Wow.
What was it like? I mean, do you have a tough time teaching sighted students?
Well, I will not say a tough time, but I think that it's a bit of a challenge, but not a very serious challenge. You see, when students see you for the first time, especially your state, I mean, they will be wondering how you are going to, impact knowledge to them. I remember one of my students later came and confessed that, in fact, the first day I entered the class, she was wondering what I was going to do. But after experiencing me for a month or so, she said no. She was very impressed with my teaching. So, of course, teaching sighted people, some may try to sometimes do certain things, maybe at your blind side. But I think that some of these things are normal. You can't totally eradicate them. It is student behavior. So, but I don't think they haven't really posed any serious or dangerous challenge to me.
Wow. So how do you prepare your lesson notes? How do you set exam questions? How do you mark?
Okay, well, for certain questions, I know how to use the laptop, so I can type it. I can also dictate to someone to put it in print.
Wow.
The lesson notes can be typed, or they can also be dictated. And then for the marking, what happens is that I take the script, get somebody who is very fluent at reading. The person reads to me, I point out the errors to you. If there's something I want you to circle, I let you do it. If there's a particular spell I want to verify, I do that.
And who pays that person?
For now, nobody pays the person. The person that does on the basis of benevolence.
Wow. But then walk us through the teaching itself, the process, the practical aspect of teaching. When you step into the classroom, how do you go about your duty?
Well, I step into the classroom, I spend some few minutes trying to interact with students. Of course, then, so
you can interact with us when you take us as your students.
We're students.
And you are in the classroom, so now.
Okay, so I enter the class, say good morning, class.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, so how was your weekend?
Oh, not bad.
Okay.
It was good.
So how is, did I mention your name? How is life? Hope you are doing well.
God's grace.
And I hope we are prepared to learn.
Sure.
And so today we are going to look at a very interesting topic. You see, I don't go straight away to tell them the topic. I try to put them in some kind of suspense. And then, as the students try to figure out the answers, definitely somebody will get the answer. Then I'll tell, okay, today our topic is, maybe if it is phrasal verb, say today our topic is phrasal verb. I get one of the students to put it on the board.
Okay.
Then we roll on.
So what class do you teach?
Awesome.
I teach 3 classes. I teach, because of the COVID-19, some of the classes have been split. So I teach 2 general as 2A3A, 2 general as 1B, and then 2 visual as 3.
Is it
senior high level?
Yes, senior high, yes.
Oh, wow.
Senior high, sure.
And are your students cooperative?
Very, very cooperative, except for some few challenges. But, a large chunk of them are very cooperative.
Wow.
Now, John, every answer you've given us, you've mentioned challenges that come with it. Per where you stand, how do we as a nation help make your life better?
Well, I think that, for example, the classroom, the issues of market, I was very happy when you asked me who pays the person who is to me. I think that the nation can do something by at least assigning, if they can even assign national persons, service persons to us, or even assistants, so that some of these burdens can be taken off. Somebody can be helping you to mark, and then sometimes even assist in the classroom.
So, for instance, like teaching assistants, kind of?
Yes. Not that the person is going to do your work for you, but certain times, some basic things that you need to make your work smoother. Exactly.
But the money is good?
Okay, not bad, but Elmatis always ask for more. So.
Now, you were employed 2018, you say?
Yes.
Right, that's about the time the free SHS started.
Sure.
Yes, now you are rolling out the double track system. What do you make of all this?
Well, I think that the double track, well, it's not so much a bad system. I mean, I think that is the only alternative available for now. I mean, if you want to really create access to rope in a lot of students to to make our country literate, then we can't leave out a certain portion of our society. Yeah. And the exigencies of the time demanded that the double track system was implemented, and I think it was quite innovative. Though there are a few challenges, but I think the challenges do not erode the total benefits or the total importance of the double track system.
Awesome. Now, given the option, visually impaired students and sighted students, which one would you go for?
This is a very difficult question.
I know.
Well,
you've not really thought about it, have you?
You could do with any student, whether visually impaired or not.
Well, I don't have a challenge dealing with any kind of student. But, I mean, for the visually impaired, maybe the issue of getting someone to read my scripts to me will not be a big problem. Yeah. Because they are simply going to write in Braille. Yeah. But I'm comfortable with, I'm comfortable with teaching the sighted. I'm much more, you see, the sighted who gives you a lot of experience. We do not want a situation where we are confined, as go back to the school for learning and teach. Yeah. In that case, your potentials I don't know elsewhere. Yeah. Now that I'm at Kwawu, I interact with a lot of students, and at least my potentials who are known, they also tell their parents, and I think that it goes a long way to take away that kind of perception certain parents have about their children. It will encourage them to bring their children out, those who are blind, those who are disabled. Yeah. At least after all, they have their teacher who is blind, who is teaching their children.
Yeah, they have an example to live. But John, are you married?
No, I'm not.
What are you waiting for?
I'm still searching.
So when you used this, you did not grab?
I didn't grab. I had a lot of female friends, but I didn't grab any.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
So what are your plans, in the next year or two? What are your plans?
Yeah, what does the future hold for you?
My plans is I want to finish with the master's degree.
Have you started already?
Yes.
At where?
University of Cape Coast.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I want to complete it and then probably see if I can go ahead. I have an ambition to become a lecturer, so...
Okay.
Oh, great.
Exactly.
Good.
So
then you're on track.
Yes.
That means you really want to stay in the teaching space.
Sure.
But which of the universities would you want to lecture at?
Of course, UCC.
You see, that's so biased.
Where the hat is.
Exactly.
So biased. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's an amazing. But where do you go to church?
Okay, at the I go to Apostolic Church of Ghana.
Okay. If I ask you to tell me your talent, apart from teaching, because I know you are very passionate about teaching. Yes. But what else can you do?
Well, I do a lot of quizzes. I participate in a lot of quiz competitions. In fact, when I was on campus, I represented my school. That's the University of Cape Coast in a Know Africa competition organized by TV Africa, and we won.
Wow! Congratulations!
Yeah, we went through the stages, the preliminaries, quarterfinals, semifinals, to the finals, and then we won.
So how do you entertain yourself?
Well, I like a lot of reading, audio books. I listen to a lot of audio books, and then I also listen to a bit of music, not so much.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Maybe sometimes hymns and a bit of high life.
Wow.
Who's your favorite high life artist?
My favorite high life artist? For now, it should be Daddy Lumba.
Hey!
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite? No, because we are going to play that for you.
Wow, favorite?
Yes.
It's difficult to choose. But I like Teresa,
Teresa Beres. Yeah. Teresa B was coming into the scene.
Are you able to sing it? Do you like to sing sometimes?
I don't have a good voice.
You can at least sing along, when he's playing.
Well, you see, my tune is not that strong, but I'll try.
Okay, all right. I'm going to play that for you, and you will try to sing along. So, are you ready?
Okay, let me see. Let me try.
Okay, so you sing a little bit before we start playing.
Okay. Let's go to the south. Okay.
Really? You should be dancing. Let me help you to start playing. Yeah, so you can stand here. No, try. I'm dancing with you.
You're better than you give yourself credit for.
Yes. That was awesome. John, thank you very much for passing through. And God bless you for the amazing job you are doing for Mother Ghana.
Now, you see, there are a number of people who, if I can put it this way, are in your situation and may have given up on life.
Exactly.
If you had the opportunity to speak to these people, what is that one message that you will give to them?
Well, what I will tell them is that the world is a hard place.
Yeah.
But it's a hard place, but you can navigate your way through. Where there is a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
You must be determined in life. And of course, I will also ask families to be supportive.
Yeah.
It's challenging, but you've got to support your family, your a person who has a disability. You have to support a person. You have to make the way, encourage the person. It is not the end of the world.
Wow.
The fact that you are visually impaired, you are disabled, doesn't mean that is the end of the world. I mean, Helen Keller was deaf-blind.
Yeah.
But because of the support and the encouragement she had from family and other people, she made it. And she was determined. So you may find yourself in a particular situation, but that is not the end of the light. There is light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely. So have there been some special people who have given you some unique support that you would like to say thank you to?
Oh, for now, I have to thank my parents.
Yeah.
And who else?
Who else
and then,
would you also thank you to?
When I was going through school, I had a lot of support from the Roman Catholic Church in my hometown, that's Tuna.
Okay.
And then, at the university too, Mr. Kofi Tim was very supportive. He was the head of the resource center.
Okay.
And then I also have Mr. Kwame Bohini at UCC. He's at the library there. He's also very supportive. And then some of my friends at the Kwao Rich, Elvis Chapere, Philip Ampofo, Richard Ofosasari, Solomon Kovina, all of them.
Yeah.
Right. The entire staff there, they are very supportive.
All right.
I'm
Wonderful.
grateful to
Thank
them.
you to all of you
And then
for
to my
supporting
headmistress too,
Yeah.
Mrs. Regina Tete.
Awesome.
Also very supportive.
All right, John. Thank you very much for passing
You're most
through.
welcome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we appreciate you so much and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very
It's
much.
awesome
Thank
what
you
you're
very
doing.
much.
God bless you. All right, this is still the Upside Down Show. Remember, the show is brought to you by Vodafone. The future is exciting. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we have more for you, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
New Lux Even Complexion with exfoliating clay and vitamin B3 for fragrance, even complexion that glows. Too many judgments? Don't get stressed. Get even, because you are more than what they say. New Lux Even Complexion.
Welcome back. This is the Upside Down Show, proudly brought to you by Vodafone Ghana. The future indeed is exciting.
Well, I hope you're ready, because today we're bringing you a very, very exciting show. Now, I am particularly excited about today's episode because we're going to put a human face to the definition of the importance of education. It's going to be very, very informative.
Very informative.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm excited that we are talking to this man because I have watched him from afar, you know, in the news and all. Now, one thing that drew me closer or made me pay more attention to what he was doing was free education. You know, I mean, when free education came, it came with a whole lot of confusion, for want of a better word, around it. But the way he was able to break it down, make people understand, you know, I felt like, okay, so this is somebody who knows so much about education and is helping build Ghana education.
That's true.
And then one day we're here and he decided to teach on class acts, and I was like, oh no, so this man won my heart, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest today is the Honorable Member of Parliament of Bosomtwe in the Ashanti region and Deputy Minister of Education, Dr. Yao Osei Adutwum. Please, show some love. Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you. 2 people interviewing me.
Yes, because you have so much, one person can't handle you.
I think you've had enough of the one-on-ones.
First time ever getting 2 wonderful people talking to me at the same time.
So how are you?
10 right and 10 left.
Yeah, you are surrounded.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here.
Wow, we're glad to have you. How's the grounds looking?
Oh, grounds is great.
Nice.
So much excitement. And I'm enjoying politics. It's good.
Awesome. All right, that's the intro now. Let's get straight into it now. Frema, you shoot your shot because I have this grenade I want to unleash.
No. So let's unleash gradually. No, so for most of us, we got to know you know, in the news, and not much was really heard about you, and then we saw some man in the news talking of free SHS and trying to break down gold track and green track. It sounded all so confusing, but the teacher that you are, you were able to break it down, and then he decided to wow all of us by picking the, you know, come back to the blackboard to do some teaching. Who are you? Where have you come from?
I get that all the time. Where have you been?
Yeah.
About the teaching, you know, you called your program Class Act.
Yes.
So my teaching had to be a class act.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you see, you set a high standard for me by the name of your teaching program.
Yeah.
So
and you nailed it. You nailed it.
It has to be a class act.
Yeah.
And I taught for many years, and in Ghana, after my 6th form, I did national service and taught for 1 year.
No, let's go way back before the
beginning.
Yeah. Who are your parents? Who are your siblings?
My parents. Oh, good. My father has passed on.
Okay.
He was a cocoa farmer.
At where?
At Manso Amenfi. There's a village called Antobam. You walk, those days there was no car going, you walk 10 miles to get to the village.
Okay.
We live in a hamlet, a house by ourselves in the middle of the cocoa farm. And that's where I had my formative years. And before I started school in my native town of Jache in the Ashanti region.
Right. Oh, Jache Pramso.
Jache Pramso.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I had my primary school education, middle school, and then went to the most famous high school in Ghana, Jache Pramso Senior High School.
Mighty Japas. What was the name of your primary school? Do you remember?
Jache Anglican.
Okay, it's still there?
Oh, of course. And I went to Jache Anglican Middle School.
Okay.
But I didn't finish the whole middle school. After Form 3, I passed the common entrance and left.
Oh, so you're short since.
And left for Jache Pramso Senior High School. And then from there, I went to do my 6th form at Kumasi High School.
Was your father an educated man?
No, he did some night school, so he could read Twi.
Okay.
But besides that, no, he wasn't. And my mother, likewise, I did not have any education, and there were no books in my house where you can just read. And so I took it upon myself to buy my own books when I was a kid. Wow. I used to weave baskets. I go to the jungle, get my cane, and we use in making baskets, and I'll go and sell in Kumasi. After I was able to get about 20 baskets, I'll put it on the...
How old were you then?
Yeah.
I ran about 12, 13. I was doing my own.
Wow.
So weave the baskets, take it to Kumasi, sell them. And my first stop was Methodist Book Depot at Emrom in Kumasi. Yeah. I'll go there and buy my book. And I remember the first book that I bought from there, The Adventures of Yakentinka. Yeah, never forget
Remember that
book.
story?
Oh, yeah, very interesting. So I was my own librarian and everything, trying to make sure I can have access to books. Of course, from there you go to the first line and buy yourself some clothes.
Wow. You had siblings?
Yes.
Younger or older?
Oh, younger and older.
Okay.
There were 8 of us.
Wow.
And I was kind of in the middle, the 4th one, with 4 behind me and 3 ahead of me.
Were your older siblings were also in school and doing
Older
same?
siblings, you see, yeah, my older one went to school when he was about 18. He didn't get opportunity, so about 18, he was a Jehovah's Witness. And because in the church, everybody was reading, so when he was about 18, he's called Jones of Frema. 18, he decided that he would go to school, and he went to school and graduated from middle school.
Wow.
But there was no money for him to go to senior high school.
Are you also Jehovah's Witness?
No.
Okay.
And then my other sibling, older, the second, couldn't go to school. And my mom tells of the story of how she was going to write her name in school. They went close to the headmaster's house, and somehow my mom changed her mind that, oh, you're a girl. So she didn't go to school. And then the one after her went to school, and then the rest of us. And when we say school, we mean middle school. We're not talking about high school, because among all of them, there were just 2 of us who went to high school. Because my dad couldn't afford to take care of 2 people in high school. So I remember passing the common entrance, the equivalent of BEC. At the time, he needed 40 cedis, so that I'll pay the deposit to go to Chapere. So as day student, don't even talk about boarding. Buying the trunk and the clothes, no.
No, it won't happen.
Yeah, so interestingly, he couldn't get the loan 40 cedis. He went from village to village in the Antobam area talking to friends, and he couldn't. He was saddened by the fact that I couldn't. And then I was not going to be able to go. And then my younger brother, who came directly after me, came up with an idea that saved me and saved my education and everything. Sitting here is because of him.
What did he do?
Yeah, what he did was, my uncles were rearing some pigs, and he was taking care of it. So they had given him some of the pigs. And so he just said, why don't we go and sell the pigs? A big one, probably you get the money. And then my dad gave me money, went to Chapere. My uncle sold the pig, we got 42 cedis. So it was sold on Sunday. Monday, I was paying my deposit at Chapere.
What's the name of that brother?
Thomas.
Where is he?
He's in Germany, and he still has business. He go back and forth.
Wow.
He's done so well.
Wow.
So had it not been for him, life would have been different.
Wow. We say thank you to him.
Yeah.
And then you were in Kumasi High School.
Kumasi High School for 6th form.
Yeah.
And when I went to Kumasi High, interestingly, those there were complaining that Kumasi High didn't have all the bells and whistles and the beautiful dining halls. And we had dining hall, assembly hall, and they were complaining. But to me, Kumasi High was like heaven.
Of course.
Coming from Chapere.
Which year was this?
Which year? 1983, 85.
Okay.
I finished, and then from there I went to Tech.
Yeah.
Did land economy. And
so you learned economy, and then later on it turned to education.
Yeah. You see, land economy is an interesting course. You do literally almost everything: construction and economics and mathematics. So when I went to the US, I realized that I'd taken quite a few courses in mathematics in land economy. So I decided that, okay, given all the available opportunities, of course I started out as a security guard in US. Yeah, my first 2 years I was a security guard, a watchman, and I remember putting on my security guard clothes for the first time going to work in the US. I remember the security guard at Land Valuation Board. I said, oh man, I'm like him now.
So how did it feel, with your education?
Because the thing was that I was getting paid $4.50 an hour, and that monthly I was making more than being a land economist.
Of course, that was good money.
And I was glad that I had a job to do. So I had no regrets. But I also knew that I was not going to stay that way, and that I needed to seriously look at my future. And I had a wonderful opportunity of meeting people who guided me as to how I could become a teacher. So I became what, in the US, they call it substitute teacher, which means if the teacher is not there, you can't leave the classroom empty. It's not just like here. When teacher is not there, nobody cares about the kid. No. In the US, you cannot leave a classroom without a teacher.
Wow.
So when teachers are sick and they can't come to school, they call you up and say, can you go to this school and work there?
Okay.
So I did that for about 2 years.
Wow.
And then the government of California decided that high school should be 4 years and not 3.
Okay.
But they did not have the buildings. So they decided that they would do year-round schools, which in Ghana is a double track.
Okay. Yeah.
So the whole idea was, okay, we'll make the school day longer, but we're going to make the school days shorter so we can fit 3 batches of students, 2 at a time. While the 2 are there, 1 will be on vacation. And because of that, they were hiring more teachers, and I got the opportunity to be hired to teach mathematics after I've taken some more math courses at the University of California.
But in the U.S., you also did the new design charter schools. Tell us about that.
California, right?
Yeah, California, Los Angeles. The interesting thing is that one thing I love about Americans is that they don't hold themselves to ransom and say that this is all that we know and therefore it's not going to change. The American public schools were failing them. Public schools were not doing well. So when public schools are failing, everybody come and say, no, it has to change. So then they wrote, a commission wrote a report called A Nation at Risk under President Reagan. A Nation at Risk was saying that our public education system is failing, and if nothing is done, America will lose its competitiveness. So they didn't want America to lose its competitiveness. Therefore, they decided that something needed to be done.
Right.
So the idea was that if you have innovative idea and you believe that you can set up schools that will outperform the public schools, bring your proposal. The federal government will give you about 450,000, close to $500,000, to just begin the process. And once you set the school up, then the government pays you the same amount of money that they would have given to public schools. So if public school students were getting about $8,000 a year at the time, so they will just give you the money. Once the students enroll, instead of giving that to the school districts, they will give you that money. And out of that pot of money, you use that to pay your teachers, pay your rent if you are renting, pay your mortgage if you have purchased your own building, and run the school. And then every 5 years, they will evaluate you. If your schools are doing well, you're in business. If your schools are not doing well, then they will take away the charter.
Wow.
So I have taught for 10 years at the time, actually 9 into the 10th year, and I just felt like, if Americans, white guys, can write this proposal, I too can. If I know something, and I can bring some element of Ghanaian values to the school and change the culture of the school and get the students to do well. So I wrote the proposal, wrote my first grant, and I was shocked. One day I went on the web checking and I saw my name there.
Wow.
And I said to myself, wow, I can't believe it.
Yes, some boy from Dacha Pramso,
not to play the race card, but on that, did you face any opposition?
Oh boy,
where you're coming from?
It was tough.
Yeah.
Tough. Because you see, after I got the money, then I had to go through a public hearing process to get the city to approve the charter. I was live on TV defending why I want to set up a school. And in their mind sitting there, they were thinking, who the hell are you?
Exactly, who does it think he is?
And then you want to tell us that I can do it. And I was the first African to do that in the US. Looking at you and saying, who the heck is that guy?
And you proposed some new stuff as well.
Of course. Because I proposed a school system where we have career pathways. We were doing a school from primary 6 all the way to high school, 7 years. And we proposed that the students will come to school on Saturdays. So that they have extra time to study. We proposed that they wear uniforms, and those days uniform was not common. We proposed that we have a longer school year. And we also said every student that comes to us will have to do biology, chemistry, and physics, which was also not common. And then the one thing that got their attention was that every student would take classes in engineering. I don't know what went through my head, but I felt like engineering was the foundation of any society, and therefore I needed American children to study engineering. We partnered with a community college, 2-year college, and in America, the law allows them to offer courses to high school students. Even though they haven't graduated from high school, they can still do college courses. So every student in my school was required, as part of our graduation requirement, to enroll in engineering course, and they offer the courses, the college courses on my campuses.
You know, so when you go to America, you were a security guard. What happened? You know, just quickly tell us what happened between the time you were a security guard and the time you were making all these educational reforms for United States of America. What happened in between?
You see, the thing was this. I remember going to get my driver's license, and I was writing the exam, and I lifted up my head and saw some guy sitting there. He looked Ghanaian to me. And then he waited till I finished the exams. And then he said, "Are you from Ghana?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Which school did you go to?" I said, "Tech." And he said, "Oh, I also went there." And he said, "You know what? I'm a college professor. I've just been sent to Redwoods to go and teach at the university." So he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm a security guard." I said, "Oh, but I can become a teacher." And then said, "Oh," and he showed me the test that I needed to take. So I went to church the next Sunday and talked to some of the church elders at the Church of Pentecost. I had just started there. And now he's a pastor, Otu, and one Asante who has passed on. Both of them said, "Okay, we'll help you register for the test." So Otu gave me a check, Asante gave me money to go and buy the prep book. And then I went and sat for the CBEST, and the math, I almost got a perfect score.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But you had it already.
Oh, yeah, so I almost got a perfect score.
And we learned the hard way.
So that is how I began, and then they showed me. And that's one of the benefits of what Ghanaian churches abroad has done for Ghanaian immigrants. People don't know that they are the stabilizing force and influence, that I happen to go to a Ghanaian church, and because we are all immigrants, they find ways to help you out.
Wow.
I remember going there with housing challenges, and Church of Pentecost elders came together, they got me a place to stay.
Are you very religious?
Yes, I'm religious.
Okay.
But I don't wear it on my sleeve.
I mean, you don't need to.
As Americans we say.
Yeah, you don't need to. I mean, yeah.
So the bottom line is that the churches, Ghanaian churches that have started abroad, really facilitated the integration of Ghanaians into the American society. The pastor became your guidance and counseling person.
Yeah.
Who show you can go here. Hey, do you have your green card? If you don't have it, we'll get a lawyer for you, we'll do this for you. So long story short, once I took on that opportunity of becoming a substitute teacher, that is what transitioned me into a full-time teaching. Substitutes were just being there for 2 days, 3 days, and then you move on. Remember going to one school, American kids are terrible. so I went to one school, and the teacher had left a note that, be careful about Johnny, he's a bad kid. Wow. I was going to be there for 3 days, and I said to myself, I'm not going to allow Johnny to terrorize me.
Yeah.
So the kids came to school, and then they sat in my class, and I said, "Who is Johnny?" He raised up his hand and said, "Johnny, you're going to be my monitor, the class monitor for this whole class. I've been told that you are the best kid in this class," and the rest of them started laughing.
I'm sure Johnny himself was shocked.
Oh, and Johnny was so happy.
Yeah.
Johnny became somebody. After the kids leave, he will come and say, "Be careful about that boy."
Oh, yeah.
Oh, now Johnny's
Johnny.
So I did that for some time and then became a full-time teacher.
Yeah.
Like yours is a fascinating story. I mean, a cocoa farmer's son became a basket weaver at a point, land economist, turned security guard, now an educationist, turned politician. How did this happen? I mean,
nobody has analyzed it and broken it down like this for me.
I mean, basically, that is your life.
That is you.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, you've spelled out all the chapters of my book.
Exactly.
Yeah, but well, how easy or how difficult was it for you going into politics? Is this something you had always wanted to do?
Interestingly, I had always, when I was a kid, I saw posters of politicians, and I always felt like, wow, this is very interesting. You see their posters on the wall, and I said, politics is interesting. When I started teaching, I had mapped out my career going forward. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a school administrator, a principal. And then after the principalship, I wanted to move into politics.
And everything was falling in place.
Oh, yeah, everything was falling in place. I knew I was going to teach for 10 years. 10 years came, opportunity came for me to be a school administrator and build schools and I was going to do that for 10 years. And after that, I was going to move into politics. But in fact, I was thinking more American politics. Yeah, because I was very much part of their political system and contributing to Obama's campaign and all those things. I'm a political junkie. Can sit in front of TV, watch politics, get me excited. I remember Bush II, his campaign, I was going to meetings. That was when I became like a Republican, then I switched back. But the interesting thing was that I was not thinking Ghanaian politics.
No.
I was thinking American politics. I wanted to naturalize and become a politician.
And it made sense. You had lived there.
I had lived there 20 plus years.
Yeah.
They loved me.
You had no plan of coming back home?
No, I had plans of supporting, but coming to stay was not in the works for me.
And I'm sure you were making good money.
Oh, good money. I can tell you, if you look at the American income per year, I was top 5% of the country in terms of annual income.
Then you are rich.
What happened to you?
What happened to me?
Why did you decide to leave all this and come back to Chapere? So come back to Accra, come back to Ghana. Why?
Interesting. I had 200 workers.
Wow.
In America?
In America. And I had a wonderful time interviewing Americans to come and work for me. There are times when I have to pinch myself and say, is this Yaw Adutwum? Am I dreaming? When a white person sits at the other end of the table, being interviewed and asking me, can you please hire me? I'll work for you. So it is education that took me to America. It is education that made me who I was. It's education that brought me back. Because when Tuffour visited one of my schools when he was running for president the second time and came to the school, and then I was introduced. There were a whole lot of people there, including senior minister, a whole lot of that came with him. And then he asked me, how were you able to do this? How did a Ghanaian come to America and build schools for Americans? And then I said, no, I'll talk to you later. And said, no, say it in front of everyone. Say it in front of everyone. I didn't know what he was going to say after that. So I explained the process to him, how I became a teacher and a school developer, principal, CEO. And then after I finished, he said, would you consider coming back to help me change the education system? And I said, yeah, I will consider. And I took it seriously. I had a meeting with my mentor. After that, a former congressman whose seat I wanted to run for. And then we had lunch. I invited him to lunch. We went to Sizzlers, a very one lunch joint, and I asked him, somebody's running for president in Ghana. He wants me to come and help him change the education system and implement free senior high school. And then you also know that I want to be in America and become a politician. And just like you. And then before I could end the sentence, he said, Yao, we appreciate the work you've done here. Your school is one of the best in the state of California. But I'll tell you one thing. America can do without you. But maybe your country cannot do without you.
Wow.
So go.
Wow.
That must have hit you real hard.
No, he spoke to my heart.
Yes, I mean straight in.
I didn't ask him any question. We just talked about something else. I was fully convinced. His word has transformed whatever I was thinking. And I went home, spoke with my wife, and said, after speaking with Dr. Mervyn Damley, Honorable Mervyn Damley, I think we need to go back to Ghana. A lot of people came to me and said, you are going to be frustrated in Ghana.
Have you been frustrated?
No.
Are you kidding me?
No.
How?
I'm the most exciting politician probably in this country.
Wow.
Maybe you should share something we don't know with us.
Politics is fun.
Really?
I tell you,
that's
the
not
most
the story we hear.
rewarding job you can ever have in your life.
How do you see politics in Ghana?
Great opportunity for transformation of our great nation.
So whose idea is double track
Let
in
me
Ghana?
tell you, of course, the president owns everything because he took a chance.
But he called you in to come and help.
He called me in to come and help. But you see, if you look at double track within the context of leapfrogging, the idea of a free senior high school was, of course, the president's idea.
And the double track?
The double track, I have taught in it.
Okay.
I have taught in double track. So, of course.
You suggested it to the president.
Of course, I suggested it to my minister. It went to the president.
But initially, how did it sound to your minister?
Yeah.
No. You see, my minister is someone who is open to ideas.
Okay.
So he said, okay, given the situation, this will work. So my minister embraced it. And let me tell you, if he had not embraced it, it couldn't have gotten to the president.
Yeah.
The minister embraced it and saw that given the situation we were in, that is something that will save the situation. And last Friday, Complementary Education Agency Bill was passed, which is going to create a space for 35 and 40-year-olds to go to school and become an electrician, become tailors, become teachers, become nurses. And this is something that's a watershed moment for this country. So when we talk about free senior high school for the youth, we're also talking about transformative education for the adults.
Yeah.
So we can lift up the bottom and give people hope. And for just that, I'm happy to say my coming back has been fruitful and has been useful.
As a person, how do you unwind? How do you relax?
Unwind. Write. Read. I love reading. Any book by Malcolm Gladwell, read it, and I can't wait to see his next book. The
David
last
and
book
Goliath?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
David and Goliath. You're Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, boy. What the dog saw, I'm reading it over.
Okay.
Allies, I'm reading.
Yes.
The last one was Talking to Strangers. You see, it's opening your minds to life's intricacies, how people succeed, how people don't. And by the way, if you look at Napoleon Hill, saying that there's nothing that man has desired or a woman has desired so badly and have not gotten it. That the power is here.
Yeah.
And if you want to change this country and believe in the fact that the country can be changed, and the vast majority believe that this country can be changed, Ghana will change.
You love music?
Of course.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Gospel and then high life. I do gospel. I also do high life.
Local gospel, foreign gospel?
Actually, local gospel.
Okay, so who are favorites?
Hamilton. Diana.
Okay.
Yeah, he's my Adum is my.
You can
favorite
sing a
one.
line of Adum.
Oh no! Don't put me in trouble.
No.
I can't sing Adum line.
But can recite.
I love every one of her songs. It's uplifting. And she's very professional in terms of her music and everything about her. The only thing is that when you watch her video, her clothes, this different one is one. And I said, oh, can you wear just two for me?
No, she's got it, so she's flaunting it. I mean, please and shout.
So it's almost like a fashion show.
It's all part of it, you know. There are others who are also watching the video because of what she's fashion. So you have to get everything. You know, we are checking out the styles.
Everyone in that one video.
So yesterday I was watching Abdul, right?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, you have beautiful clothes, but can you do two instead of five?
No, we like it. We like it. We love to sit. And your favorite highlight?
Daddy Lumba.
Oh, what's your favorite Daddy Lumba song?
So many of them. So many of them.
So like some 2, 3?
There are too many. I can't even think of most of them.
Yeah.
Top 3. If you're pushed to the wall, top 3.
No, I won't allow myself to be pushed to the wall.
Because you are ready.
If you were to mention some of the songs,
so men say that.
Yeah, men say that. It's not bad. Yeah.
Ethiopia.
That one.
Why?
Sometimes Ethiopia. I remember there's a kid who, during the primary, I always wanted to teach in the classroom. So during the primary, I went and taught in a school in Feyase. When they're in my constituency. And then there was this kid who was answering all my questions. So I came and said, hey, young man, how are you? And I asked the teachers about him, Emmanuel, and then they said, oh, this child is struggling. Look at his uniform. Things are not good. So I adopted him, not formally. And he was in junior high school too, so I bought him clothes from US, shoes and other things. And today he's going to second year of medical school.
Wow.
IUDS,
Wow.
yeah. And that time school was not free, so I paid. And now he's going to second year of medical school.
Wow.
And the family is happy because we've made an impact
Of course.
with their collective effort. So when you're excited about things like that, I think that's what keeps me going. When I remember that, interestingly, there's another kid called Emanuela. I don't know, me and Emmanuel. And that one, I think it was divine providence for her.
Yeah.
I was passing by through Kurasi, a village in Tepa, on the Tepa Road. I was going to the funeral of Tepa Manhne's father. And then something clearly told me that I should go to that house. There's a kid I need to take care of.
Wow. Do you pray often?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay.
Daily.
So you think sometimes God speaks to you?
Oh, yeah. I think for that, that particular instance, maybe the mother had been praying.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do with my prayers, but the mother had been praying.
So you were the vessel.
Yeah. So I told my bodyguard and other people that we need to go to that house. Very bad. If you look at the building, mud built. And we went in there, coming from the funeral. It was raining, but I said, we lost our way. I said, no, we still have to go to that house.
Wow.
So finally we found the house. We went there, and the whole compound, ragged, bad place. And I asked the kids, oh, what are you doing? The only children there, pounding fufu and everything. So I said, hey, how are you? How are you? And they couldn't say, who is this?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a woman walks in, coming out of the market or something. So we said, Mom, do you have a child who is at school going age? And I said, yeah, Emanuela. And then Emanuela came from the bedroom, just loved this young, beautiful woman. And then he said, oh, he's in primary 6 and things are difficult for her. I said, okay, I'm going to adopt her. He said, what? I'm going to adopt her.
Wow.
So the next day I sent my research assistant there. And when she went there, they were at church praying because they thought I won't come back.
Wow.
So I adopted Emanuela. Now she's in a boarding school in Kumasi. Before the COVID-19, she was in a boarding school. Junior high, I want her to be in boarding school. And I'll bring her to Accra. And I want Emanuela's storyline to be different. She said she wants to be a nurse, and I said, you be a medical doctor. I love nurses, but you be a medical doctor if I'm going to support you. I walk into library in Accra, and I saw a group of kids there. They happened to come from the Independent Avenue. I fell in love with them. I adopted their class, bought them books, worked with them, paid for vacation classes for them. They've graduated this year from junior high, and I hope they'll go to top senior high school.
Interesting stuff there, but time will not allow us to
of
tell
course,
it all.
I'm sure we can just sit here all day to listen to you and to talk to you. You are such a fantastic human being. And I'm excited, you know, about having this conversation because we've had to know you beyond what we see in the news and all. And the passion you have, the commitment that you have to ensuring that Ghanaian children are transformed. In fact, it's the only way that we can transform our nation. Thank you very much for deciding to come back to Ghana to help. We say a big thank you to your family as well for giving you to us. And you know, like that Lumba will say, Honorable won't say that. Won't say that. Don't say that.
Won't say that. Won't say that.
We've been talking to the Deputy Minister of Education, the Honorable Dr. Yao Osei Adutwum, who is also the Member of Parliament for Busumchi in the Ashanti region. Thank you very much. This has been the Upside Down Show, proudly brought to you by Vodafone Ghana. The future indeed is exciting. My name is Frema Adunyame.
And mine is Nana Tuffour Boateng. Many thanks for watching.
And now,
we're doing this one for you.
Yeah.
Chapere, good to in the background.
Yeah, that is so well. That's my life. Yeah.
Perhaps dog can do the two-step.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I remember it was a painful 4 years.
If somebody fools you the first time, you're not a fool because you didn't know.
Do you remember?
Me fridge mu ni o manyina sese na me ton pia water ni nyina madwuma nyina seye na even dey medicura na ho de ma me.
Out, we couldn't have enough time due to the light out. We couldn't have enough time to study, so we wait for daytime to study.
a sign doing something. So now you say you see touch and I say you be saying I thought you say bright it is a normal light. No, it's not affecting your students.
Before no, I do so no over 250 the next day. Me do like you do near socket, na 50 the grass and so. Yeah, my light, yo, it's not beba, the chair begin so Chapere ma. Then minister call Dr. Quadradonko. I catch and say, on do son want to me and solve ya, or be resign. And pa, want to me and solve it.
Do Sunday before then, there, now you're very bad. Oh, yeah, you might cry, ship a better crime, if you say, you're very bad, so terrible. But this time, one idea, so wonderful. Nyamako, yeah.
Me printing, t-shirt printing, and then printing soon as you use machines. It's not effective because you do like that. Into me, use machine behind your printing.
Next show coming to me now. Mrs. Sayeti, my Mr. Juma Begui, because one to me is control generator. It's my yet to shop no. It's doom sonny there, a higher pebegu, you might be brave. Mrs. Aconsuyo coast on in numbers say, I'm a coast on you begui. It's doom sonny there, I dare be the problem brave.
Doom son mark, young customers not the so quiet. Her palace shop if you are because one Casabeno, oh, baby, the way you